has changed from calm to rough. That means that the fisher folks should take precautions if they want to be on the sea. Close to the coastline, Axim, Takoradi, Hafasone areas, they are having the rain and thunder clouds over there this morning. So close to the coastline, it may not be advisable. They want to do deep fishing too. The state is still rough over those areas, so they also have to be extra careful. On the Volta Lake, we are expecting mist and fog patches this morning. Then from mid-morning, we expect it to give way to clear sky with just a few clouds. By late afternoon to the evening, we are having 40% chance of rain and thunder. For the north, they will still be in the dry and hazy conditions throughout the forecast period. This morning, Kumasi is misty. Those of us in Sunyani, Techimai, so we're expecting it to be foggy in between the mist. So visibilities will still be on the low side, less than 2,000 meters. So motorists that will be using the road this morning around this time, they need to be extra careful. Temperatures will be 38 for the north, 33 for Greater Accra, 35 for Kumasi, Achimda, Kufuridua area. So for today, this is what we are anticipating the weather to be. Kumasi is likely to be partly cloudy with 30% chance of rain in the afternoon.
Felicity, thank you so much indeed for the update this morning. Grateful for your time this morning.
We are also grateful for having us.
All right. And that's Felicity there. 14 minutes after 6, 3FM 92.7. You heard it all here. We will have some rain. There's a chance of rain coming your way. Helen, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm still feeling, the Valentine.
That's why you're wearing red.
Yeah.
I bet you wait.
How are you, Johnnie?
I'm greater than Accra.
Love to hear it. How did you sleep?
Well, I slept well. Yesterday I had a program at church, Valentine's program, Blends of Love. And while I was there, I was thinking about what was happening on the campus of the University of Ghana.
Yes.
Police have beefed up security of the University of Ghana campus after Tuesday's violence. But we do know that there's a court ruling.
Exactly.
That says that the students can go back to their halls. And so I'm confused, if you ask me. The University of Ghana has a whole faculty of law that's training future lawyers with some of the best legal brains you can find in the world. Now, they teach these students to recognize the fact and the power of the courts, and to respect same. How is it then that the university that has a whole faculty that's teaching people how to respect the law, know the law, recognize the law, are the ones who are deciding to do the direct opposite? So it means the politicians have a certain control over whatever happens. So if you are a lawyer training, what's your future?
And then also seeing, of course, the police being there. I mean, do they trump what the courts have to say? Very interesting scenes yesterday.
Are the police not supposed to be the ones enforcing, not enforcing, maintaining law and order? So they are supposed to be the ones leading, the charge. You get a point.
Exactly.
So now if you have a situation where the court makes a declaration or makes a ruling or gives a ruling, I think I'm mixing it, but then they say, look, this is what it should be. A should be A, B should be B. And these are the same politicians who tell you, go to court.
Exactly.
Go to court. So what are we going to court to achieve, really? What are we really going to court to achieve? For me, that's the painful aspect of the whole conversation.
Yeah.
And I feel very, very sad. The leadership at the University of Ghana must bow down their heads in shame. Like a Ghanaian would say, "Kohiya mashinobu." Bow down your head in shame. It's a very sorry sight. Trust me. What's on the front page of the Ghanaian Times?
All right. Well, the Ghanaian Times has a few stories on the front page. GNFS, National Security, closing on prank callers, procure device to clamp clamp them down. This is something that at least I know the Ghana National Fire Service have complained about incessantly. Over 1,000 prank calls they say they can get even in the space of just 1 month. They say there's a device that can stop all of that because, of course, if you're calling and somebody else has a real emergency, you're blocking their chances of getting help. Ghana to stop filling landing cards by airline passengers March 31. You know those annoying ones where they ask you where are you staying, your phone number. They're going to phase that out come the end of March. You don't have to fill all of that.
I didn't think that we needed that because if we have a Ghana card system and it's better than 1,000 interchanges, it's supposed to be.
You're quoting the vice president there.
The vice president. I mean, it's supposed to be a travel document. You didn't need what do you call it?
Your passport.
Your passport to travel and all of that. I didn't think that it was necessary for us to fill all those forms at the airport. So if that's really going to happen, I have my doubt oftentimes because the government gives you timelines and then you find that the timelines really are not timelining.
We'll keep an eye out on that. President inaugurates ICT facility at Domkwabenya and DDEP. Government gets 83 billion cedis, representing 85% participation. Sani was with us yesterday. If you joined us, he told us about he was breaking down that midnight communique that came through. I still can't make heads or tails of what government is saying, but let's not digress too much. Lastly, on the front page, Information Minister celebrates Chocolate Day with New Times Corporation. The back page, quickly, 93-year-old Sandema Hospital in ruins. There's a picture to go along with it, Johnny. Just feast your eyes. Just feast your eyes on this.
You know, I went to Likpe Bakwa, right? In the Volta OT region. And I saw an hospital of that nature, you know, abandoned as well. That's supposed to be serving the people in the Likpe area. And you ask yourself how we allow such facilities of essence to just rot away. How we allow it, it's painful.
I mean, even just taking a quick glance at this back page, what they're saying is that even for your even corpses have to go to this facility here in Sandema, 93-year-old hospital. They say they have a cubicle that they can keep the corpses in just for a few minutes. We talk about the dignity of the Ghanaian man from birth all the way up until death. Even in death, you might not get any dignity.
Hey, well, William, good morning. Welcome. Good morning. You know that I said something the other time. I said, look, in Ghana, right from cradle to grave, you are taxed because we have increased the fees and charges by 15%. Okay, so birth certificate, as soon as you are born, birth certificate, fees and charges affect them. When you die, death certificate, 15% affects it. You get the point. You are born, birth certificate. They collect them.
You see, if they can find you in the afterlife, they'll tax you. Afterlife tax.
They'll collect it.
While at it, your life will be equal to your funeral. Your life. So as you are alive, Charlie, if you want a great funeral, you have to lead a great life. Because if your life is not good, to show in your funeral.
But then the point is that you may have lived a good life. You have saved all you want to save. You put it in investment, and a certain kind of Kenoforiata suddenly springs up.
So your funeral will be great.
Yes, but a certain because
no, I was just talking about the funeral.
Yeah, but the point is that people plan for all these things. People do investments for all these things, and they actually have it in their will that look. If touchwood today I die, I have an investment at so and so place. You should use that for A, B, C, and D. Don't go and burden people. And then suddenly a certain kind of Kenoforiata springs up and decides that let me dip my hand into your pocket without apology. You know, it's painful. Because having had conversations with some of these bondholders, beyond what they say on the screens and to the cameras, the kind of things, sometimes unprintables that they share with you, and curses that they are raining on those in charge, you have no idea. And you know that when somebody is old and they say these things, it follows you. They say stuff like from the depth of their heart. You could clearly see that they are not happy. They are not happy at all.
But Kens is not as painful as the pronouncements of the man The pin man.
The man.
You know what I mean? Yesterday, what the Chief Justice said and what I had said earlier, just that the choice of words were different. But basically, we're saying the same thing. In journalism, the who factor is very important.
Right. Who?
So there was a who are you?
Who is making the comment?
Yes, they were making an argument in the newsroom, and I was saying that, look, he can come up with all the information, but as journalists, we need to also go to the official sources and get their responses. If they deny, fine. If they don't, but where we take his words, hook, line, and sinker, then we are giving him a certain verve, certain energy. Then he becomes sprightly and he's always out with rumors. Me, I call them rumors. So if you get his tweets, we have Eugene Ahin, we have Opon Krumah, Fatima Abubakar, Ahiagba. These are individuals who are out to speak for the party, the government, and the presidency. So he can eavesdrop and come and tweet. I'm not saying you shouldn't take his tweets. If you take his tweets, go to any of these individuals
and verify. Run the back.
When they confirm, fine. When they don't deny, you still have your story. But when we take the stories or the tweets from him and we don't do anything and we take it as the holy truth and come and put it out, then we are now calling him Prime Minister. This creation is the media.
Is not, see,
we have started calling him. The party hasn't called him Prime Minister.
William,
President hasn't called. Even our constitution will not allow him to be called Prime Minister.
William, it's not about what is permissible or not. That's on the side. But if you run your home, and Helen has the privilege of being around you, and each time before you take a major step, Helen is the one telling us that, oh, look, by next week it is possible that William will wear a blue shirt on Wednesday. And then on Wednesday you wear a blue shirt. Then she comes again, by next week it's possible that William will throw a party on Friday, and you do. And everything he keeps saying happens. When he says something, you take him serious.
Exactly. I'm not saying we shouldn't take him seriously, but I'm saying that the scenario you painted was what I would call the familial scenario. But I'm talking about the professional scenario.
Right.
We should be questioning why he even has some
that
of
one
this information.
it's a given. It's okay. If he has that kind of information, I mean, people are privileged to be in privileged places. But I'm saying that between you, Johnnie, and I, and anybody else who calls himself a professional journalist, somebody told me yesterday, hey, graphic trained. I mean,
but William, you know,
I should be different from the blogger.
William, you remember? William, yes. I mean, there's no debate about that. But William, you remember that? And for me, I find it quite strange that Kofi Aduma Owenni, you remember him? Yes. You remember the police picked him up or invited him at one point because one of those fellow Ghanaians, whatever it is, he had preempted what was going to be said, and the police invited. Why has nobody picked up Gabi?
Exactly the point. It's because we have given him a certain clout. Obama flew.
It's not you see the police should be seen to be treating everybody equally.
It is still the professional thing I'm talking about.
Right.
In it.
Obama flew from America and came here and told us that we should build institutions and not build strong men.
Right.
So me, I will not entertain anybody or encourage anybody to build a strong Gabi Ochedaku who has been described as a pin. No, I didn't say it.
He said disturbance.
Blah blah blah.
Charlie, can you imagine if you are described as a disturbance?
Since last week, I've been telling you that Charlie, the guy, we should encourage him. I was hearing you on the University of Ghana thing.
Right.
Yesterday, I heard from them, the University of Ghana authorities, that they got the court injunction late. So if they didn't act, it was because of that. They had heard that the court had taken that decision, but as an institution, they couldn't have acted in a vacuum. So that explains why what happened. Number two, even if they had gotten it earlier, it was not for the students to act on the instructions of the court. It was for the universities to act on the instructions of the court.
That's right.
For the university to say that, look, you guys can come. It's not that you go and pack your things and say, I'm coming. So just to clarify.
Well, you see, the point is that my point of view is this. The University of Ghana has a whole faculty of law. Right? So to the extent that you are teaching people to become lawyers and future judges, and to obey the law, to know the law, and to encourage others to also apply the law, which would then give credence to you being a lawyer, a judge, or whatever, an officer of the court. the university community so far in this particular matter, I mean, forget about the injunction, which came belatedly. But if you watch how the university itself has conducted, I mean, people negotiations and all of that, and it looks like the university had taken a decision. We won't allow it. We are finished. Well, we don't want Commonwealth. We are mixing it.
The point is that I'm a student of Commonwealth Hall. I'm also a student of the university. So this matter, it is very difficult for me to,
have interest.
But the university has a certain authority upon which it acts. It is when this becomes a challenge that you escalate to the courts. You know what I mean? Other than that, it will be very difficult to run the university. Because we have about how many thousands of students. So the laws of the rules of the university would come into play to a point where there are disagreements where we to escalate to the courts, and that's where they went to courts. And then they are saying that they could not act in a vacuum.
Some of the arguments I saw swirling, especially on social media, was that they had thought the university would maybe at least intervene in a more timely fashion, especially at the point where you had the police and students, somewhat clashing.
They were standing by their decision. And the students had gone to court to reverse or overturn the decision.
That's right. And
so once the court's document hadn't got into them, they are saying that they were still...
I mean, you can say that you have not been said, but I'm saying that the posture of the university.
I mean, it's challenging though. They could have been more, if you like, responsive.
The posture of the university.
Yes, a little bit.
Because you see, the student, you are dealing with adults. It's not like primary school or SSS where you could just pass a law and everybody will obey. People are traveling from Boga and somebody's paying his own school fees. He comes and he wouldn't get a place. So all these dynamics would have to come into play. But discussing the issue, we should also be careful not to, if you like, for want of a better word, dilute the authority of the university.
Oh no, but nobody is seeking to dilute the authority of the university. I think that the university has not been accommodating enough in this particular matter.
Agreed.
Because when you go to either male-dominated, so why are we not mixing up Volta Hall? Why are we not diluting it to see
all these decisions,
to say men or boys can also go and join?
All these decisions have followed some disturbances. So it was not just a one-day off-the-cuff decision we are going to mix Volta or we are going to mix Commonwealth. If they've all come on the back of certain disturbances, and they are thinking that if they bring the ladies to Commonwealth Hall, because of the presence of the ladies, you guys will not be as wild as if we were alone.
But you've
because if Helen is here, the kind of things you and I would do, we will not.
But William, you have lived in the city before.
I was off campus, but I used to be there.
You've been in the city before. Sharp. There's very little. As
when you leave us.
That's what I'm saying. See, the girls can be there, and the boys will still do what they want to do.
Oh no.
The girls. No, I'm saying the girls. The girls
can't be 100% correct.
Yeah, no.
You can't be 100%.
I'm saying
when Helen is there.
The girls can be there. But I think the girls there when the people have their power night and the rest.
Oh, but not in the hall. They don't live with them.
Yes.
Because where somebody can just come out of his room in his birthday suit and be walking on the corridors.
Right.
If she's there, they won't do that. But we do.
Yes.
Sometimes even from the main place to the
main gate.
We used to do it. So and Helen this morning cannot pass in front of the hall.
No, because she's wearing red. Coco.
I've seen it in action. I went jogging one unfortunate morning where who is it that is it the Vandals that have the cocoa?
Yes,
they were in
that's what we're talking
force,
about.
and they had one lady who unfortunately was on the campus, older lady with the cocoa. She had to jump inside the pickup truck.
You see, we're excited this morning because of the culture of Commonwealth. We are all excited because, and this is what all of us want to protect. We don't want the university to crash and take out that culture. But in doing so, the law must be obeyed. I mean, basically so.
Well, Professor Jampo says the lawlessness by some University of Ghana students can't be allowed to go on. I agree with him that if people are being lawless, they have to be reined in. But we also have to look at the bigger picture of the whole, I to saying there's a certain tradition.
That's
people. Yes, people. I mean, you have the likes of Dr. Clementa Park, Egbe Fable. Name them. Judges, lawyers. Creme de la creme of society. So if you take that away from them, say, okay, I went to the University of Ghana. Which hall were you affiliated to?
Then diaspora halls.
Yes.
We put them in some hostels. How did they even coordinate
activities?
I hope that moving forward, also the students who typically find themselves involved in some of the fracas tone it down, because then you ruin the experience for everybody. You ruin the experience. There was a lot of property destroyed unnecessarily, and that goes too far. Yes, by all means, have your culture, have your tradition, have your fun. We've all been young before, but to the point where you start to ruin other people's experience, you've ruined it for everybody.
That is not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. It cannot go on.
Well, 18 people we know have been arrested so far regarding the disturbances or in connection with the disturbances. Let's see how the processes go. Let's see how they go.
15 have been granted bail.
Yes.
They are still inside.
Yes.
And the Old Vandals Association, we are working together now.
Yeah, Old Vandals.
They are working together.
Yes, they are working. Sharp. They're working around the clock. Around the clock.
Shall we get some more stories from the Ghanaian Times? All right. Well, DDEP, we have been following on this journey since its inception. Governments say that they have 85% participation. A very proud and happy-looking Ken Oforiatta is captured here. You see him. I think he has a briefcase in his
This for when you read the budget, but
I see
the pensioners will be picketing in Parliament.
They want to help him.
Yeah, they want to help them.
Anyway, but they say approximately 83 billion cedis of old city bonds have been swapped for new ones under the just ended domestic debt exchange program, DDEP. We've all become experts in the fiscal space in the last few months. Can't courtesy of the government. Haircuts, principle. These days you just walk in, some people know some of these. So thank you, IMF and DDEP, for giving us some financial education. Well, a statement issued to announce the results of the program, which ended on February 10th, said the amount represented about 85% of the outstanding principal amount of bonds, pegged at some 97.7 billion. To provide sufficient time to settle the new bonds in an efficient manner, the ministry announced an extension of the settlement date of the DDEP from yesterday to next Tuesday. However, it said the extension was only to process the settlement of the new bonds and not for new tenders. Now, the issue dates, interest accrual schedules, and payment schedules for the new bonds will be adjusted to reflect the actual settlement date. As the exchange period has expired, no new tenders will be accepted and no revocations or withdrawals are permitted. It said the government was pleased with the results of the DDEP, as substantial majority eligible holders tendered. So, some good news, it seems, for government. They've been extending. Now we know that we have some 85% participation.
We will not go to IMF.
Well, we are there.
Finally. Oh my God. Government asked to intervene in making cocoa products affordable. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. We adopt that day as our cocoa or chocolate day.
That's right.
And for me, it brings back the bigger conversation, Galamsey and the cocoa farms. And we all saw Ibrahim Abubakar's story where the cocoa farmer said, look, I've been weeding and planting and harvesting cocoa for donkey years. I don't have anything to show for it. But since I started Galamsey on my own land, I've been able to put up a superstructure that I can call my own. I'm comfortable, I can do what I want, and I have enough money. And when he said that, I knew that straight away we're going to rush in there to try and firefight. And that's what we did, exactly what we did, trying to convince him. But he's just one.
He changed his mind.
Yes, he changed his mind.
Thank God.
For now.
No, he did. But this is just one of how many. And you see, when it comes to this cocoa conversation, I'm very passionate about it because the Chinese are now processing cocoa in a mechanized way. They are planting the same quality we are planting. I remember our Greek minister had said that we should not be worried because the quality that China is planting is not equal to what we are planting. Yet your cocoa gets rejected at some point because of cyanide and mercury and lead and all those chemicals in them. Now, if Ghana and Ivory Coast are the biggest suppliers of cocoa around the world, yet our cocoa story is not big. It's a wake-up call for us. Where now, if those countries who used to buy from you are now getting into the business of planting cocoa and drying the cocoa in a mechanized way. So you would plant your cocoa, you will harvest it, you cut the pod, you spread the beans on plantain leaves, you cover it for it to ferment, you come back, collect it, come and spread it on a rafter, let it dry. If it rains, you have to put it back together and all that long process. They just need 2-3 hours to dry it, to go through all this 3 months process. 2-3 hours, they're done. So you can clearly see that they are planting more, they are harvesting more, they're getting more from even the pods of the cocoa, the other byproducts. They are actually now selling at a faster rate while you are still doing cutlass and hoe.
That's a very scary prospect.
It is. And cocoa is your cash cow because gold will finish. Oil, finite resource, it will finish.
Absolutely.
Manganese, all the things that you depend on. But cocoa will be there. People will continue to consume cocoa, and that's what God has given to us. So I want us to look at it from a different perspective. How many metric tons of cocoa are we producing presently? If you go to the Western North area, the cocoa farms are vanishing. Fertilizer in no day.
Yeah.
The cocoa farmers are not happy. We continually owe them. Then we'll go and do syndicated loans. And then it comes to even the promise of the president himself, who said, look, I will make sure that every child gets a cup of cocoa drink every day in school. Warm cup of cocoa drink every day in school. Or a bar of chocolate. So that it will help with local consumption, and then the money stays here. We don't have to import. Where is that promise? So if government is asking us to make cocoa products affordable, we are not even helping with the production and the consumption. How then does it become affordable?
And let alone thinking about how we take it to the outside world. Have we been creative enough with the end products that we send out to the world? Because if the Chinese have now found a more efficient way, a better way of producing cocoa and making cocoa-based products, what are we doing that can compete in that space? Can we do something different with our finished products, incorporated with some of our local foodstuff items, something that nobody else can create? Or are we still going to do cocoa powder here and there, bars of chocolate, a few flavors here and there? What are we doing even with the finished products to attract exportation?
Johnnie, you mentioned China.
That's right.
I read, and I'm happy I've got the story. It's in the Spanish media. There's a website called SUR, and it's in English. A team of researchers at Mayura has obtained the first harvest of 100 kilos of pods of 4 varieties of cocoa.
Four. We are doing 1. They are doing 4.
Yes. So the Spanish are also looking at growing cocoa. So, and we know cocoa came from Fernando Po.
That's right.
So it's not like it came from Ghana. It can grow elsewhere. So when we think that we are the leading or second leading producer of cocoa, so we are going to just sleep.
We're sleeping on the job.
Are also coming. So
we are not indispensable in this chain at all.
And unfortunately, the greater number of cocoa products are also produced in Europe.
That's right.
So chocolate, the most expensive ones are coming from Switzerland.
Where they don't even have a tree of cocoa.
And if you come here, Nestle, they are all Swiss companies. And so we need to find a way to produce here and sell the finished products to them. Because the raw material will not get that as much money.
No.
Because yesterday I bought chocolate, the medium bar. It's 10 cedis.
Yeah.
Something just recently was 5 cedis.
5 cedis. Now it's 10 cedis.
If my math is right, that's about 100%.
Yes, 100%.
Inflation.
Yeah.
And the big one is 15 cedis.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no way we are going to make money if we sell raw materials to them and they process and sell it back to us in dollars.
Exactly.
It doesn't make meaning on the currency.
Yeah, so if we produce here and we also produce the chocolate, then they will come and buy.
But
make our.
But this is a scary prospect. Really,
it is. It is. But are we consuming enough of our, not just chocolate? I mean,
the cocoa
products?
Because it's expensive. We don't produce it here. See, Cadbury chocolate drink, chief, it's expensive, so we can't consume. You know what I mean? If the West is encouraging us to just push timber, cocoa, coffee, cotton raw, they are pushing finished products to us all the time, and it's putting pressure on our currency. So it's also increasing inflation. So you can't buy. So if you ask whether we are consuming, no. How many of us, if you take 15 cedis for the bar of chocolate and you step out, you can eat wachi and some small
will lay some small egg.
But I haven't eaten that chocolate in a long time.
But then the question is, what would it take for our government and duty bearers to say, look, going forward, this is the new directive. All refreshments for our boardroom meetings, whatnot, should be our brown gold cocoa from CPC, which is ours, and that is it. We have brown gold, or you have your regular Milo, as they call it, Milotins, and things from cocoa. It should be easy for us to do it.
Yeah, but does the CPC, does it have the capacity to produce enough?
Well, demand will begets supply.
Exactly. So we have to find a way to support CPC to grow and expand.
Absolutely.
To compete with Nestle. Other than that, it will still be the same story.
Yeah, but then the point is that if you are consuming more of what they produce, because the longer the things stay on the shelf, okay, the longer it takes for the money to go round. But then if you are consuming more of what they produce, they get the money back quickly, and then they can reinvest, expand, scale up.
But in the medium term, the government may have to step in. I mean,
I agree with you.
Like Nkrumah was doing.
I agree with you
that the state must support industry to expand fast, so that we can hold the money here. We are struggling because everything that we are using,
it's important.
This shirts made in Ghana shirts, about 80% of everything.
On the thing, it's rotting.
It's the dollar.
Charlie, go and check the silos at Tema. The silos that were supposed to.
You have gone far, Tema. Just industrial area here.
Yes, North Kaneshie.
Yes, North Kaneshie. They are there, long, tall silos.
And you know the interesting thing is opposite another company that's producing something.
The factories around North Kaneshie again. Have you seen the roads? Since 1957.
Charlie, we'll come back.